Probably in the code you would have not got, but probably before you write the first code, making the connection, all that, any problem? Okay. If you have any problem, please stay back after the class and let me know what's the problem. And in case if it is installation problem, please go to the old building and contact Blasina. So please don't come to me with installation problems and all. To be honest, I don't know how to solve at all. So don't ask me at any cost. So if you are not at all able to solve, there is no other way. If that is what you feel, only then you come to me. So next, let's start. The next problem is you need to write a program to insert a row into the employee table. So basically you need to take one detail from the user and you need to store it inside the employee table. Is that clear to everyone? Do you know how to write a SQL query for this? Yes. How do you write a SQL query for this? Just give me 1 minute before you answer. Okay. Yeah. Please say the SQL query for this. I need to say what? Insert. Okay. Yes. Insert into next employee. Okay. Then values. Next. Sorry. More than 300 students are sitting here. 4 of them are answering. Values. After that you need to give the values, correct or not? Okay. First you need to give ID, then you need to give name, then you need to give email, then you need to give department, then salary. So I think you would have studied 2 ways of actually writing the SQL query for this, correct or not? This is the worst way of writing the SQL query. When you write, you should always mention what is the first parameter, that is what? ID. Then so please make sure that you follow the other way. What is that you do over there? You actually mention the first one is what? You need to put 1 more brackets. You will say first one is ID, second one is what? Name. Third one is what? Email. The fourth one is what? Department. The fifth one? Salary. This is how you write it. After that you will say values. So the first one is ID, second one is name, third one is email, fourth one is department, fifth one is salary. Is that clear to you? Do not directly write it like this, how you told in the previous case, because in your systems you can see what is the database, what are the rows in the database. When you go to a company and when you start writing the queries, it will not have just 5 columns, it will have 40, 50 columns in one table. And you will not have access for the table as well. You don't even know what are the columns that will be there. Whatever requirement is given to you, in that requirement they will mention these are the column names. So you need to insert only those data, you need to update only those data. So that's how you do it. So it's very much compulsory for you to mention the column names. Is that clear to you? So anyways, you already know how to write an SQL query for this. So I will consider this to be the SQL query and I will store it inside a SQL. I will just write it as SQL. Is this clear to you? Now what I need to do is, I just have to write the JDBC code for this. Now if I need to write the JDBC code, as I mentioned yesterday, there are some common steps that we need to follow. The first thing that I need to do over here is I need to load the driver, which I told automatically will happen. The second thing that I need to do is I need to get a connection to the database. How do we get a connection to the database? Sorry? Driver manager dot get connection, and you need to pass URL, username, password. In URL there is one, what is the URL that you will write? That whole thing, because API name, everything is same for every one of us over here. So what is that? JDBC. Colon is not there. Colon MySQL colon / localhost colon 3306 or whatever your port number is slash then the database name. If you do not know this, you might fail in interviews. So please make sure that anyways I'll copy and paste from there to here. Don't think like that. In interviews they will ask you to write these things if they ask JDBC. And if you are not able to write that, you might get rejected. So please make sure you know these things. Next, you have the URL, you have the username, you have the password, you can get the connection. After you get the connection, how can you create a statement? What is the name of the method? To create statement, the method name is create statement. This is how you create the statement. And after that, you need to execute the SQL statement. How do you execute the SQL statement? What should you write? You need to write execute query. Execute query. Is this clear to you? When you say execute query, should you pass the query or not? Yes, you need to pass the query over here. So I have written the SQL query. So whatever SQL query you have written, you need to pass over here. So I will just write it as SQL. Is this clear to everyone? Any doubts in this? No. So can we go and start writing the SQL query for this? Yes, sorry, JDBC program for this. So let's start step by step. So let me take you to Eclipse. Fine. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to create a connection. So if I need to create the connection, I need to say driver manager dot get connection, and for that I need to pass URL, username, password. So the first one is URL, the second one is username, and the third one is password. So what is the URL that I need to pass? You said mention something. What is that? JDBC colon MySQL colon / localhost colon 3306 colon slash or colon slash, after that JDBC classes. Great. I will store it inside a variable called as URL. Similarly, I need to create one more variable. I will name it as that is for password and username. What is the username? Root. So I will store it inside a variable called as username. Next, after that I need one more, that is password. So I will say password. Is this clear to everyone? After this I need to start creating the variables. So I will start creating the variables one by one. So I have created the connection object over here. So you can clearly see I have not created as a local variable, but I have created as a static variable. Is that clear to you? So the variable is also created, the connection object is also created. Now all I need to do is I need to put this inside the try catch block. So I will put this inside the try catch block. Connection is done. What is the next step? What is that I need to do? I need to create a statement. So let me just keep these steps for your reference. So we are done with the second step. We need to create the statement. How do we create a statement? By saying connection dot create statement. So I will say connection dot create statement, and I will create the statement. So statement is also created. After statement is created, next what is that I need to do? This is done. After that I need to execute the particular statement. So how do I execute the statement? Statement dot execute query, and over here I need to pass the SQL query, correct or not? So I will just store it inside a variable called as SQL, and after that SQL should be created before this. So let's create the SQL query over here. What is the SQL query? Insert into, I need to give the table name. Table name is what? Employee. And after that? Value or values? Values. Just now I told don't write like this, but you will write like exactly like that. What should I write first? Within parenthesis I need to say values. Then again I need to put parenthesis, but over here in the first parenthesis I need to start mentioning the column names. What are the column names? ID, next. Name, next. Email, next. Department, next. Salary. Great. After you mention all of this, I need to mention the values. So what are the values I want is, maybe I want Jack. Jack is already there in that? No. So I'll say Jack, and after that, should we put in quotes or not? Oh, first one is what? ID. My bad. So what was the last ID that we had in our database? So let me quickly check what is that was present in the database. So this is what we have as of now. So the last ID that we have is 5. So let's start entering new details. So I will give the ID as 6. Then I need to give a name. Within single quotes we need to give the name. So single quote or double quote? You can give anything, but when you are writing within Java program, it is compulsory you give single quote, because Java is already using double quote. Is that clear to you? If you put a double quote over here, it will think the string is ending. Are you getting the point? So I need to put the single quote, and I need to mention, I will say it as Jack, and after that I also need to mention what is that? Email. Third one is email, so I will say jack@gmail.com. Next, after that, the next one is department. I will say department is finance. And after that, the next one is salary. So salary will mention as 50,000. Is this clear to everyone? Any doubts in this? No. So this is the SQL query that we had to write. Just for easy understanding, I will just write these in different lines. And I will actually store this inside a variable called as SQL, and SQL type is what? String. Is this clear to everyone? Any doubts in the SQL query? No. So I have already passed this particular SQL query over here. Now say me one thing, when you are actually, when you are inserting the data, whenever you write insert command, do you think that particular query will actually return you the table? Yes or no? No, it will not return you the table. Then there is one problem that's happening over here. If it is not returning the table, then you are not supposed to write execute query. Because if you write execute query over here, and if I execute this program, you can clearly see it will give you some SQL exception. Are you able to see the SQL exception? And if I put this on this side, it says statement execute query cannot issue statements that do not produce result set. So basically what is result set? Result set is nothing but the table that has been returned to you, correct or not? So that query is not going to handle such things. Now what do I need to do for this situation? If you ask me, the method name execute query is going to change in these kind of situations. What do I mean is, let's assume that I have a database, and let's assume this is the database I have. So, in what all kinds of commands do you write for that particular databases? One kind of command that you write is select command. One is select command that you will be writing. Apart from that, what all command you will be writing? Insert, then update, then delete. Any other commands? Yes, you can write create command and all of that, but as a developer you will never be writing to create the table. All table creations and all of that will be done by database administrators. So as a developer you will be just using these queries. Means what are these? All of these particular commands belong to a certain category. What category do they belong to? Sorry? These three things belongs to one thing. What is that? DML. So that's what you will be writing. Is that clear to you? Now, if you observe this carefully, whenever you write the select command, are you making any changes in the table or not? Are you making any changes in the table when you write the select query? No, there is no changes that is going to happen inside the table when you write the select query. All it's going to do is fetch the data and show it to you. Means you are just doing the reading operation in this particular case. So, select query, does it return anything back to you or not from the database? Yes, it returns data for you in the from the database. But if you write insert query, are you actually doing changes to the table or not? Yes. So, you are manipulating the table over here, or you are updating the table over here. Similarly, when you write update query, are you doing any changes in the table or not? Yes. Definitely some values in the table will be changed. Means you are manipulating this or you are updating this. Similarly, when you write delete query, are you doing any changes to the table or not? Yes, definitely you are doing the changes, or you are manipulating the table, or you are actually updating this particular table. So, in all the three commands that you see over here, you are manipulating the data over here, and that's why you call it as DML. Is that clear to you? And that's why it belongs to the DML. And in all of these three cases, if you observe, is that table or is the database giving anything back to you, or you are giving to the database? We are actually giving this to the database, but it is not giving us anything. So basically you are updating the table over here. Whenever you are updating the table, or whenever you are actually updating the database, in that particular case, you will not write execute query. Rather, you will write the method called as execute update. Execute update is what you need to write. And you need to pass the SQL query over here. In all the three commands that is available over here, you will not write execute query, rather what will you write? Execute update. But if you are not actually updating, but if you are getting something, in that particular case, you will not write execute update, rather what will you write? Execute query. So in the select command, you are actually getting the details, so you will write execute query. And you will pass the SQL query over here. Now, what is the difference between this method and this method, if you ask me? This method is used whenever you fetch the details from the database. And this method is used whenever you are modifying or whenever you are updating the database. Is that clear to you? And whenever you actually write this query, this will always give you some rows or some columns from the database, and that's all of that will be stored inside the result set, and always this execute query will return you a result set. But execute update will never return you any result set. Whenever you write execute update, what exactly happens? Some modifications are made in the table. So if any modification is made in the table, this method will actually return you some integer value, and that integer value is the number of rows where the modification has happened. For example, if you write insert query, and if you insert one person's data, how many rows get affected over there? One new row is created. So one row is affected over there. So it will return you 1. If you actually write an update command And if there are 3 rows which are getting updated, in that particular case, it will return you 3. If no rows are updated, it will return you 0. Is that clear to you? So this is what the execute update returns. So it will always return you an integer value. Is it clear to everyone? So let's quickly change the things that we had written. So what I will do is, let's go back to Eclipse. In Eclipse, should I write execute query now or execute update now? Execute update. So I will write it as execute update. And I need to pass the SQL query, and it will actually return me an integer value. I will store it inside a variable called as I. And in the next line I will say system.out.print I. It will return you how many rows are affected. In this query, how many rows do you think will get affected? Just one row will be affected. So if I execute and print this, you can clearly see it will print you 1. So if I execute this, what is it printing? 1. Now how do I know it has inserted? If you want to know it has inserted or not, you go to your database and check whether it is inserted or not. So what I will do is, I will take you to the database. So this is your database. Is the row inserted or not? It is inserted. If I re-execute it, you can see Jack is there. Is it clear to everyone? Any doubts in this? No. But as I mentioned yesterday, are we following all the standards that we need to follow to write the SQL query, JDBC code? No. So let's go and follow all the standards. Don't worry, whatever I have shown you yesterday, all of that I will not do over here. I want you to do all of those things. Is that clear to you? Otherwise, unnecessarily I will be writing the code every day. You will be sitting and watching the same code again and again and again. And I know some people will be checking their notification again and again and again. So I want you guys to follow the standards, because it's the same code you need to write again and again. What I will do is, whenever you write an SQL query over here, this is not how you write SQL query when you write in JDBC. Not just in JDBC, when you normally write SQL query also, if you want to follow all the standards, that's not how you write it. What do I mean by this? There are some small changes that you need to do. What are the small changes? In this, where whatever is the table name and whatever is the column name, they have to be enclosed with something called as backticks. Now, what is table name over here? Employee. What are column names over here? ID, name, email, department, salary. Is that clear to you? You need to enclose them with backticks. What do I mean by backtick is, it looks like a single tick, but it's not single tick. Now where is that particular thing available? You need to actually put that over here. For employee, you need to put it over here, and you need to put over here. You can see it's almost like a single tick, but is it exactly single tick? No. So if you take your laptop, just below the escape key, you will see that particular thing. So you can go and search in your laptop. Just before 1, it will be present. Same thing has to be put for all the other columns as well. For ID, you need to mention it. For name also, you need to mention. For email, you need to mention. For department, you need to mention. And for salary also, you need to mention. So wherever there is column names and table names, over there you need to put backtick. If you want to try, you go to MySQL Workbench and you start generating this, queries. Even in that, you will see backticks will be there. I don't know whether you have observed or not. Probably you would have ignored that particular part. You would have not even thought, why is it given like this? So you need to observe these small things. This will actually matter a lot. So anyways, if I execute this code, will it work or not? Yes or no? Yeah, then it means you don't know SQL. It's saying SQL integrity constraint exception, duplicate entry 6 for key. 6 is already there or not? Yes. But you are saying, yeah, it will work. So anyways, for example, if I miss one small semicolon, can you identify it immediately or not? Yes or no? Yes. How you identify semicolons, that's how you need to identify each and every error in a program. That's how good you have to be. That's how you grow in an organization. It's not like I should say, you remember this? Then, that I remember. If that is your situation, then there is problem. Because all these kind of things are maintained in schools and colleges. This is school when you are in school and colleges. In organizations, what is school if you ask me? You being the best is cool in organizations. You becoming the best dancer in your team is not cool. You becoming something best is not cool, but you earning well is cool. Because if you earn well, you can go in Mercedes. That's the difference. So anyways, let's get back. So, see, when I say earn well, you can go in Mercedes, I don't mean to say when you are 25, you will go in Mercedes. That's not going to happen. If that has to happen, your dad should have made millions and kept. So, at least when you are 35 or 40, you should be capable. If not Mercedes, at least BMW. If not BMW, at least some other 30 lakhs car you buy. Not on EMI, on your own money. Bank will always give you and it will loot from you as well. So anyways, I will change the values over here. I will make it as 7. I will name it as Jill. You never heard Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill. You didn't hear this? In LKG it was there for us, first poem. So, maybe you would have learned Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, I guess. So anyways, let's re-execute this. It's saying 1. You can go back over here and you can execute and check whether it is reflected or not. So if I re-execute, you can clearly see Jill is also getting added. Is that clear to you? So that's all about insert query. Any doubts in insert query? Any doubts? No. So how much JDBC lines of code I have written? 1, 2, 3. Problem solved. JDBC over. Let's go to the next question. Programming was more difficult than this, correct or not? In fact, Java was also more difficult than this. SQL was also more difficult, I guess. I don't know. No, SQL you can see one line. So, anyways, can I solve the next problem? Okay. This is the next problem. Write a program to update the salary of employees by 5,000 who belong to the finance department. Do you know the SQL query for this? If you don't know SQL, I cannot write JDBC. So, everyone knows SQL query for this? Please say, I don't know. What should I write? Update, okay. Update. Update. Update what? Employee, okay. Update employee. Sorry? Set. Set. Sorry? Salary. Salary what? Equal to. Sorry? 5,000. Sorry? Many people are just sitting and watching what I will write. Be honest and say how many of you know SQL query for this. Without any mistake you can write query for this, raise your hand. Without any mistake, how many of you can write a SQL query for this? Raise your hands. Hands down. Set salary is equal to 5,000 if you write, it will set the salary as 5,000. Did I say set the salary as 5,000 or update the salary of employees by 5,000? Means what? Increase by 5,000. If you don't know English also. So tomorrow English class we will start conducting that. Okay sir, you are not shameful for that. English movies and all you will watch, but English class you will not understand. salary plus 5,000. Next, after that, what should I write? If, where? So, where what? Department. Department equal to or equal to equal to finance. Semicolon. So finance, should I put in single quotes? Yes or no? Think properly. So I need to put finance within single quote. Whole thing I will put within double quote, and I will store it inside a variable called as SQL. And after that, wherever there is table name, I will put backticks. Even for salary, I will put backticks. Even for department, I will put backticks. Because wherever there was column name, I have put backticks, and for table name also I put backtick, and for the values I have put single quotes. If it is a varchar. Is this query clear to everyone? Yes or no? Yes. This query you need to write, and write the same JDBC code what you just wrote. Problem is solved. Is that clear to you? So let's quickly do it. So let's go to Eclipse. Let's create a new class. Fine. Let's start by writing the code over here. So I need certain things over here. One is URL, username, password, and also I need the query. So I'll copy all of these things. I'll paste it over here. Query is something I need to change. So let's start by writing the SQL query. What is the SQL query? Update. Employee is a table name. Employee, next set, next salary, salary is equal to salary plus 5,000. Where also I should write? Where? Department. Department is equal to finance. Is this clear to everyone? Yes. So let me put in different lines. Next, where is our where clause? Over here. Okay. So before, in every JDBC program, the first thing is I need to create a connection. So we will say driver manager dot get connection. So I will say driver manager dot get connection, and for that I need to pass URL, username, password. Okay. Last third bench from that side, fourth person. Be ready to answer the next problem. So I have given URL, username, password. Now what is that I need to do is I need to create the connection. So I will not make it as a local variable, by the way. What I will do is I will make it as a static variable. Connection is created. Next, what is that I need to do is, what is the next thing? Before that I will put this inside try catch block. I need to create a statement, and how do I create a statement? By saying connection dot create statement. So I will say connection dot create statement, and I will create an object of statement as well. Next statement is created. Next I need to execute the query. So should I say execute query or execute update? Execute update. So I will say statement dot execute update, and I need to pass the SQL query for this. It will return me an integer value saying how many rows have reflected. So in how many rows it has affected, it will reply return us. So I will print the value of I. Is this clear to everyone? Any doubts in this? No. So what I am going to do is, rather than we going and checking over there whether the rows are updated or not updated, what if we can display over here and see? Don't you think that will be better? If I need to do that, don't you think I need to call the display method? Yes or no? I will not write display method once again. Yesterday we have already written display method, correct or not? So I will make use of the same display method over here. When should I do it is, at starting after I create the connection, I need to make sure that I call the display method. So what I will do is, I will say, inside which program it was there? Program 1. So I will say program 1 dot display, and I am passing connection statement, and after that I need to pass the result set as well. So over here, are we creating any result set? No, we are not creating any result set, but don't you think over there it actually creates one result set object? Yes. So it will create that result set object, and it will take care of that particular thing. So next what is that I need to do is, once we are done with all of this, again I need to display it once again. So what I will do is, I will display it once again at the end. Is it clear to everyone? So if you want an extra system.out.println, we will write extra system.out.println. If there is any problem in the other program that I am calling, since we are passing null, we will later on handle that particular situation. So let's execute this. If you execute, you can clearly see there is no issues. It's printing properly. And how many rows it is affecting? 2 rows. Which are the 2 rows? Whoever belongs to finance department. What was that? 50,000, 60,000, 55,000, 65,000. Is this clear to everyone? Any doubts in this? No. That's all about the update query. So you can see the JDBC program did not change. The JDBC program was the same. The only thing that changed is what? SQL query. Is that clear to you? Any doubts in this? No. Shall we solve the next problem? Okay. So the next problem is, I actually want to delete the tables, delete the rows. Now which rows I need to delete is, I need to delete such rows, which are the departments that we had over here? We will delete whoever belongs to the BD department. Is that clear to you? So who belongs to BD department? Suraj. So there is only one person who belongs to BD department. So whoever belongs to BD department, we need to delete it. Is it clear to you? So again over here, am I getting anything from the database? No. Am I changing anything in the database? So I am updating the table. So I need to write what should I write over here? Execute update. The only thing that is going to change is the SQL query. So can we quickly write down the program directly? Okay. So let's quickly write down the program. So I'll just copy this whole thing. So let's create a new class. So I'll create a new class. I'll name it as program 4. So this is that new class. I will just paste whatever I copied. I'll rename it as program 4. So the only thing I need to change over here is this query. So let's change the query. Can you say me what is the query I need to write? Sorry? delete, sorry, directly delete table name or from, sorry, from, are you sure? 100%. Okay, from. Next, employee. Next, where? Where? Department. Department is equal to BD. Is this query clear to everyone? Are you sure about this? Okay. So after this, rest everything remains the same. The first thing is you need to create a connection. You can ignore this particular line because we are just displaying it. Then after that you need to create a statement. I am creating a statement. Then you need to say execute update, and the query we have already changed it, and after that it will say you how many rows are getting reflected. So in our case, how many rows will be reflected? One row, and after that it will print that row and it will again display the table once again, whatever is the updated table. So let me just bring this table towards this side. So let me re-execute this program. So it clearly says one row is affected, and which is that row? BD was over here. You can clearly see BD is not mentioned over. Is this clear to everyone? Any doubts in this? Are you sure? JDBC over. So we are done with all the 4 CRUD operations that you have studied in SQL. Now you can write complex SQL queries and you can mix and match those SQL queries over here, but you need to make sure that you have all the necessary tables for writing all the SQL queries. So the JDBC program remains the same. Is that clear to you? But before that, just one small core Java concept I want you to know. Over here you can clearly see the first row is printing properly. After that, second, third, fourth and all, it's not in a proper format. Correct or not? Yes. I want it in a proper format. How do I do it? You understood what I mean? For example, if I actually take you to you see how properly it's arranged? All are left aligned. I want like that. How do we do it? Anyone has even a clue, you can raise your hand and say. Even if you have a clue. Okay. Nobody got this question when yesterday it was printed like this for the first time. If it was proper, it would have been nice. Did you get that question in your mind? How many of you got that question in your mind? I mean that thought in your mind. Okay, great. So others did not get. Great. After you got that thought, what did you do? Ignore that thought. Correct? If you ignore that, that's the level of curiosity that you have. If you ignore that, gone, you will not learn. So first thing is that thought should come. That thought will definitely come if you are fully focused. Or if job is your primary thing, or if coding is your primary thing, then definitely that thought will come. If that thought has not come, then the primary goal that you have in your mind is not this. That's why that thought has not come. That's all it is. Make it as primary. If it is primary, I will say, if that is the primary, my primary thing in a day is teaching. I do so many other things in a day, but my primary thing is teaching. How many hours do I spend in the stage every day? If you ask me, minimum 6 hours I will spend on stage, not inside classroom. On stage I will spend 6 hours. So, same question you ask yourself. Where do you spend the maximum number of hours of your day? Wherever you spend, that is your primary goal. Now you know what is your primary goal. What? You have 24 hours. You exclude sleeping. then what is there, you consider that. Definitely Reels, YouTube Shorts, this is what will be there. That's the problem. Let me be very clear with each one of you. I was actually using the phone, that phone was quite old. After using for about half an hour to 45 minutes, I used to get pain in my hand. I don't know why exactly. Is it radiations or is it because I am holding like this? I don't know what exactly it is. But that's how it will affect you. That's how it will affect you physically. Mentally, how it will affect you, I'll say. Say me one thing. In case, if you actually watch Reels continuously for about half an hour, do you feel relaxed? Say me, do you feel relaxed? No. That's the amount of stress that you are getting. You actually ignore that. Because psychologically, Reels are very, very, very bad for humans. Nobody speaks about it because all these top software people are controlling your narratives. That's the reason. These companies like Apple, Twitter, Microsoft, Google, Instagram, all these top tech companies, they actually control the narrative of the whole world. They have actually removed a person, Donald Trump from the platform itself. We consider that USA is the most powerful country because that country will go and bomb wherever they like. Nobody goes against them. But when Russia goes and bombs, the whole world will speak about them. When they were actually bombing all the Middle East countries, nobody cared. Nobody put any sanctions. So even whether you consider it or you not consider it, USA by default as of now is the popular one, is the powerful one. And those platforms have removed the former president of that country. That's the power they have. You think they can't control your narratives? They will easily control your narratives. You will feel that is correct whatever they are saying because they will make sure they show the same thing for you, your friends, all the people living around you, and they will make you believe that that is the truth. This is what is happening. And what if you actually see all this, this particular tech of Reels came from China first in TikTok. And if you know very well, China has banned these whatever kind of Reels that you get, these kind of Reels they will get only for the people who are above 18. Below, for every certain range, for example, if you are at 12 years old, you will get Reels or you will whatever they call that's 60-second shorts. Someone will call Reels, someone will call shorts, but it's a mini content that you get. They will get what is there in their education. That's what they get. And that's how they are making sure that their people are actually growing and investing time in the right place, and at the same time all the people from the other countries are wasting their time. And that's what exactly you guys are doing. So put that in your mind very clearly. And these things will actually give you stress because you have seen in 30 minutes you will see around 20 to 30 Reels. You would have seen so many Reels today and yesterday and day before yesterday combined. I will guarantee you would have seen at least more than 100 Reels, those who are using it regularly. Say me at least 10 Reels what you remember. Can you remember or not? If you revise it, you can remember. Otherwise, you cannot. Unless it's really making a huge impact, you cannot remember that. This is the thing. If this is not sufficient for you, some people will think, no sir, I learned so many things from Reels. And I actually save them and keep. Because they give options of saving. You saved them and kept, something about resume they told I will save and keep it. Later on I will do it. Something about Java they told I will save and keep. Later on I will do it. How many of you saved it, went back and did that? Some 2-3 people are raising their hands. But majority of you go and see your saved section and see how much you would have seen. You would have no clue, oh, this was also there. That's how it will be. So, you are actually spoiling your brains doing this. And all of this actually reduces the level of curiosity, reduces the interest level of different things. Because you will feel, by default you will feel, I can get access to any content that I like. That's how you will feel. But when you really want it, you will not get it. This is what happens. So please make sure you come out of that particular thing. Once you start watching one reel, automatically you will feel like I should watch next, I should watch next, I should watch next. Correct or not? Yes. That's dopamine impact in your brain. Yes, it is happening. Now, at this age, you actually by default humans look for dopamine impact. That is, when there is actually more dopamine, I mean when you actually get, when you solve any problem or when you learn something new, suddenly you get excited and you will feel like doing it. The thing is, earlier generations, what used to happen is, if they want to get that effect, they had to wait for a longer time. They had to achieve something. Only then they used to feel excited. But in today's generation, the problem is every 60 seconds that effect will happen. It's like drugs, literally like drugs. So, it's a digital drug that they give it to you. It's up to you, do you want to spoil it or not? Even if you are watching a reel, at least watch a reel where someone explains some program. At least something you will learn. So, if you do not do that, that's what will happen. So many of them got the question how to solve this. What if it was like this? But they didn't go back and try it out. When you go and try these things out, that's when you start growing. If you are talented, if your IQ is good, that is not sufficient to get job. If your IQ is good, utilize that IQ to get a better job. If your IQ is bad, work towards improving your IQ and getting better. And let me say one thing, if you solve programming questions every day, automatically by default your IQ level will go up. Because that's exactly like playing chess, that's exactly like, it's all about logics. Your brain will start thinking in better and better manners. And automatically you will be able to crack interviews, you will be able to improve your IQs, and you will become good at coding as well. Do these things. You have come to Bangalore to do these things. Not to watch reels, not to go and play in the ground. You can do all that anytime. I see some people coming and standing over there, some June batch students, suddenly I saw one day. They are coming with basketball, bat, and they are standing in front of the building. So, if this is the preparation level, then I am so sorry. I know if I come on Sunday somewhere around over there, I will see many of you from here also, some boys. So, if you are playing for relaxing yourself for one day, for 1 hour, that is fine. Morning till afternoon or afternoon to evening for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, that is not fine. For relaxing, you do it. For relaxing, watch reels. For relaxing, you listen to music. For relaxing, you watch one episode of a series. But majority of the time, you should be practicing. But what you guys do is, you actually do, I will watch reels. Now I will relax. This is what is happening. Shall I solve this problem or you will do it? Because if you say that you will do it, I will never do it. Put that in your mind clearly. What? I knew. This is how I am controlling the narrative. So, anyways. Let's go to program 1. Yesterday we had seen, inside program 1 we have the display method, correct or not? Yes. Where is the display method? Oh, this is program 4, sorry. Oh, this side it's there. My Eclipse has some problem now. This is where our print statement is available. So, I need to do some modification in the print statement. If you want something like in the table format or anything, you are not supposed to use print or println. There is another option called as printf. That's what you need to use. So, what I will do is, I will say system.out.printf. I hope everyone knows how printf was written in C program. C or C++? C. In both it's written. So, over here you need to put a quotes, and after that you need to put the comma over here. So, over here you need to mention what type of data you are going to place. First data is what? ID. So, you need to say over here you are going to place ID. So, ID is what type of data? Integer means percentage %d. Is that clear to you? If it is real numbers, you need to say percentage %f. If it is string value, you need to say percentage %s. Is that clear to you? So, after that what you need to do is, you need to say ID over here. Is that clear to you? After ID, do you want another data or not? What is the next data? Name. Name means I will say name over here. After that, what do you have? Email. So, I will say email over here. As of now, I will just keep these things. But ID is data type I have mentioned. Did I mention the data type of name? No. So, I need to mention that as well. So, what I will do is, I will come over here in the place of %d and I will give one space. If you want any comma in between, you can put the comma as well. And after that, what I will do is, I will say name is what type? String, %s. If you want a comma, I will put a comma, and after that I will say %yes, that is for email. Is that clear to you? I will comment this line. Let's execute this program. Are you getting the output or not? Everything in same line, because I have written print, not println. After printing, should I take the cursor to the next line? If you want to take the cursor to the next line, you can say /n. If I say /n, it will take the cursor to the next line. You can see now it's in different lines. But did I get what I expected? No. First of all, I don't want these commas. Since there is a space, comma, space, so you can see space, comma, space. Is that clear to you? Same thing is happening. First of all, I don't want this comma, so I will remove that comma. So, let me remove this and let me remove this. Now, I will execute. You got the details, but it's not in the proper order that I am expecting it. Oh, many people have same number of letters in their names. So, how do I arrange them in the proper order if you ask me? All these emails should come over here. That's how it has to be arranged, correct or not? For that, between this percentage and D, percentage and S, I should put some numbers. I will put some numbers and I will show it to you how does it affect. I will put some number like 7 over here. Observe carefully what are the changes. Are you able to see the change? What is the change if you ask me? 1, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, it is taking 7 spaces. So, whenever you put ID, will you actually take 7 spaces? No, you might take some 3 spaces, correct or not? But this is what, this is actually called as right aligned, means everything is coming towards the right side. You can also make it as left aligned. How do you make it as left aligned if you ask me? You just make it as -7. If I execute this, are you able to see the change or not? Let us assume, usually this will take how much? 3, maximum 3 digit it will be. So, I will consider 3 and after that I want one space. So, space I have already given. So, I will take it as 3 not 7. So, I will make it as 3 over here. Is that clear to you? So if I do this and if I re-execute, you can see everything has come towards this side. Next, what I want to do is, for this name, how much is it occupying? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in case of Jill and all of this. But Karthik is occupying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we will take somewhere around 9 or 10. Is that clear to you? Because some names will be even bigger than this. So I will take it as 9 over here. So I'll put 9. And you can see if I execute this, it has come towards this side because it's all right aligned. So what I need to do is I need to make it as left aligned. Left aligned means what should I do? Minus 9. So if I do this and execute, are you seeing the difference? Yes. Next, similarly after this, we have put only name, email. Next after this we have other details as well. What are the other details? Department. Department. Oh, department is not DEPT. And after that, salary. So after this string S, then what we have, percentage. Department is also percentage S, then the other thing is percentage D. Let me re-execute this. You can see again alignment is not proper. Let's again start with the aligning the things. So how many, if I count the characters till here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18, we will keep it as 19 or 20. So should it be minus or plus? Minus. Minus, I will say minus 20. Now let's re-execute this. Is it arranged properly? Yes. Next, one more we have is department. The biggest one is finance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll keep it as 7. I'll keep it as minus 7. Last one you don't have to do because automatically it will align. But if you want to, you can write that particular thing as well. Now if I re-execute, and you can clearly see all of them are aligned properly. Is that clear to you? Now you go to anything and you call the display method, it will work as you expect. Is that clear to you? So first thing is, don't kill your curiosity. If you kill your curiosity, you will not learn things. Is that clear to you? Put that in your mind. And tomorrow you guys will be present? Yes. Day after tomorrow? Yes. So Saturday you will have holiday. Sunday also holiday for Deepavali. Monday why? Monday is Deepavali. When do you celebrate Deepavali? Monday. But in calendar it was showing Tuesday. Okay. Monday and Tuesday also holiday. But Saturday there will be classes for the next 2 Saturdays. So that's all. Have a great day.